It started with the smallest of lies, the kind you convince yourself doesn't matter. A lie so light, it floats from your lips without weight, without guilt, without the thought of consequence. He had told her he was working late. It wasn't unusual. He often stayed behind to finish reports, to catch up on tasks that spilled into the evening hours. And she believed him, because why wouldn't she? Trust had always been the unspoken contract between them, a thread binding their lives together through routine, comfort, and quiet certainty. But on that night, he wasn't working. He was with friends, lingering over drinks, laughing louder than he had in months, enjoying the freedom of not needing to explain himself. He told himself the truth would only complicate things. She might not understand. She might feel neglected. She might even grow suspicious. So he let the lie stay. Just one little lie. The problem with lies, even the harmless ones, is that they multiply. They do not remain solitary. They grow roots in the dark, twining around everything else, demanding more lies to cover them, more stories to keep them alive. When she asked casually the next morning how late he stayed at the office, he answered smoothly, with fabricated details about a client call, a meeting that dragged on. He saw no harm in it. After all, it was harmless. Weeks passed, and the lies layered themselves like thin sheets of glass. He lied about missing dinner, about why he didn't pick up her calls, about the messages he left unread. Not because he was unfaithful, not because he wanted to deceive her in any grand, life-altering way, but because telling the truth had become heavier than lying. The truth meant explaining, defending, opening himself up to questions he didn't want to answer. The lie was easier, but ease has its price. She began to notice the cracks, not in his words, but in the rhythm of them. Lies, no matter how carefully told, carry a different cadence than truth. He repeated himself too often, tripped on his explanations, provided too many details when none were needed. And she, who had trusted him blindly, began to feel the unease that trust brings when it is tested. A gnawing in her chest, a whisper in her mind. Something isn't right. So she started watching more closely. She noticed his late nights coincided with messages on his phone that made him smile before he deleted them. She noticed the way he avoided eye contact when she asked about his day. She noticed the pauses, the silence that stretched a little too long between them. When she finally confronted him, it wasn't about a betrayal of love, but a betrayal of truth. She asked him simply, directly, "Were you really working late that night?" His instinct was to lie again, to protect the structure he had built from crumbling. But structures built on lies collapse easily. She saw it in his hesitation, the flicker in his eyes. She already knew, and that was the tragedy of it. The lie itself was never monumental. He hadn't destroyed their life with an affair or a crime or a grand deception. He had only wanted to avoid an uncomfortable truth. Yet in doing so, he dismantled the foundation of trust they had spent years constructing. She no longer believed his explanations, no longer trusted his words, no longer felt the quiet certainty she once carried. A lie, even a harmless one, plants doubt. And doubt grows faster than love when it takes root. She began questioning everything, every story, every excuse, every memory they shared. If he could lie about something so small, what else had he hidden? If he could let dishonesty slip into the spaces between them, what did that mean about the life they built together? In the end, it wasn't the nights with his friends, or the forgotten calls, or the erased messages that ended them. It was the lie. The first one, the smallest one, the one he swore to himself would cause no harm. Because a lie, no matter how harmless it seems, changes everything. It corrodes trust, it distorts love, it takes something whole and makes it fragile. And when the truth finally comes out, as it always does, what remains is not anger or betrayal alone, but the realization that something once unshakable can be broken by the gentlest of lies. The strange thing about a lie is how it lingers long after it's spoken. Words dissolve into air, but lies cling like smoke, seeping into curtains, into clothes, into the walls of a home. He thought it was gone, forgotten, but the lie hung between them every day, invisible yet suffocating. She tried to ignore it at first. tried to believe him the way she always had. But once suspicion enters a heart, it does not leave quietly. It whispers during sleepless nights. It sharpens the memory. It replays conversations over and over until every syllable feels suspicious. She started noticing details she would have dismissed before. The faint scent of cologne that wasn't his, a receipt in his jacket pocket from a bar he never mentioned, the way he guarded his phone as if it held something sacred. He, on the other hand, grew tired of the performance. Lies are exhausting. They require memory, consistency, and precision. He found himself resenting her questions, her gaze, her presence. In his mind, the lie was her fault now, for pushing him into corners, for making truth unbearable, for forcing him to keep playing the role he created. The guilt twisted, became bitterness, and he began to distance himself even more. Their conversations grew shallow. Meals became quiet, not with comfort, but with unease. Nights ended with him scrolling through his phone while she stared at the ceiling, waiting for him to look at her, waiting for him to bridge the silence. Love was still there, perhaps, but love cannot survive without trust. It is like water poured into a cracked vessel. No matter how much you give, it leaks away. One night, after weeks of suspicion gnawing at her, she broke. She told him she couldn't do it anymore. She demanded the truth, every truth. And he, tired of pretending, told her what he thought was harmless, that it had never been about someone else, never an affair, never betrayal of the body. Only the small things. Drinks with friends. Escaping stress. Avoiding her questions. He admitted to lying, but tried to soften it, to shrink it down, to make her see it as harmless. But the damage had already been done. His confession did not heal her. It shattered her. Because the issue was never what he lied about, it was that he lied at all. She realized she had been loving a version of him that didn't exist, trusting words that were empty, living in a home that had quietly crumbled beneath her feet. She walked away not because of the nights with his friends, but because she could no longer believe in anything he said. And once trust is gone, even love cannot hold its weight. He told himself she overreacted, that she should have understood, that everyone lies sometimes. He convinced himself he hadn't really done anything wrong. But late at night, alone in the silence she left behind, he began to feel the enormity of it. That one harmless lie had cost him everything, not because of its size, but because of what it revealed. That he had chosen comfort over honesty. That he had chosen ease over trust. That he had chosen himself, for just one moment, over the life they had built together. And that choice, that single decision, had unraveled it all.